Hello everyone, Ted Clayton here. This video is going to be another installment in the series Proof That Most Women Hate Short Men. Now, where I'm filming is actually where the incident took place. In general, I like to film in different places, just to give different kind of feel for each of the videos. But I'm actually fortunate, and also let me just put this out there for any that are concerned. There's no one in this area and on this floor at the moment. It's Sunday morning. It's actually 10:59 a.m. right now. So I'm here alone on a Sunday morning. So just putting that out there. But again, no one in this area and no one on this floor. All right, so with that being said, I thought to myself, I wanted to do this video, and I said, oh, wait a minute. It just popped in my head. Let me do the video where this whole thing happened. So maybe give it a little more of a feel, transcendental feel, what have you. Okay, so this was the other day. And what I think this is indicative of good faith or any kind of gestures made by short men, not taken in good faith, being taken strictly in bad faith, no matter what, and people just essentially just having a wall up. And the way I see it now, you just have to respect it. It's going to be what it's going to be. When it gets disrespectful and when it starts crossing certain lines, that's a whole different matter. But it's to show people the consciousness that's going, that we have to deal with. Because people think that you just have to be confident, or you just have to put yourself out there, or whatever else. Don't think about it so much, things like that, when there's a literal wall. So again, that's that. All right, so this was the other day. I came here to this area right here. This is a common area on this floor. I came here to eat. Now, this table is about, I would say 10 feet. It's two tables connected in one, and it sits with social distancing and everything. It sits 8 people. There's 8 seats here. Now, this day I'm giving a little bit of a prelude just to, again, show how these things can be frustrating. And most of my videos, I like doing that. I like to illustrate or just give some backstory so people can see what kind of see how things lead up, but also this persistent kind of mindset that's going on. So it's just on top of whatever you may have going on, there's just this mindset that's just not, it just has so much tenacity. It's not really letting up. So, okay. I had a couple things to do. I was pretty exhausted. When I got here, it was approaching 5 p.m. I had to go to Jersey to take care of something over there early morning. And then right after that, go to the Bronx to handle something else. I had to go all the way to Hunts Point. So, go through the city, take the train uptown, then come back to the Bronx, then finished everything, came back here. Where I'm at right now is Times Square. So I came right back to Midtown. I got some food, got some halal food. And that was going to be the end of my day. So I got here. There were, in this common area, there were 2 girls here, 2 Asian girls. I want to say they were Korean, but I wasn't really paying attention to what they were saying. By the way they looked and some of the things that I was hearing, I think they were Korean. But again, I wasn't really paying attention. Then I put on my headphones when I started eating. But they were all the way on the other end of the table. So what I did was, to mark my territory, gotta mark my spot, save a spot for me. I put my food on the table, and it's actually where I was sitting before. So where I'm sitting right now, the seat right to my left, which is right on the edge of the table, that's where I was sitting. I put my food right in front, and then where I'm sitting right now, I put my book bag. So I put that there, put my food to the side, and then I went to the restroom. Now, again, that's marking my territory, but it also is, and I'll say this admittedly, I get anxious when I get in public. Now, I can control that. It's something where I'm not going to say that because I'm anxious, that's abnormal. That's a normal human process that happens, a feeling that comes up. It's just more of controlling it. That's when it becomes crippling, right? But with this whole height thing, with heightism, I do get anxious when I get around people. And some people will say, well, you shouldn't think like that because then you start to act out what happens around you. Yeah, to an extent. But then there's also, if you start to notice a pattern, then there's some truth to that. So that is what brings up that the anxiety, because it's, okay, people are going to look at me strange, and they're going to get defensive, or they're going to make faces or what have you. As a matter of fact, I was just looking at this tweet where this guy named Lewis, I don't remember the name exactly, but Lewis Patesman, something like that, he made some joke, and then there were people that were tall people, apparently, that were responded, and one of the people used the word revile. They said this is exactly why people revile short men. And I'm a person that's big on words. I don't think a lot of people pay attention to the words they use. So when you have a word like that, it's like you start to see the sentiment that's going around. Anyway, all that to say, and again, I'm giving a prelude to, lead up to what happened. And it wasn't really anything big, but again, pretty indicative. So in essence, what happened was one girl, well, you know what? I'm already pretty close to the setup. So let me just continue. I like to start with the setup and then lead up to it, but I'm pretty much there. It wasn't really much to happen. So forgive me for that. But so all I have to say is, with everything, with this whole heightism, I do get anxious, but I can control it where it's, okay, people are going to feel how they're going to feel. They're probably going to project what they're going to project, or perceive what they're going to perceive. I can't control that. So it's something where I do, I set this up, put myself there, and this is my attempt to signal to them, to people, anyone, okay, short man going to sit here, take your time to prepare what you're going to prepare. If you want to leave, you can leave now. So that's what I do. That's how I think. I will go to that extent. But it's also a means of respecting people's space, where if people do have some kind of perception, is respecting that space of giving them a heads up and then giving them some time. So, and it could be me, but it's trying to find that middle ground. That's how I see it. I'm not going to shy away from saying that I get anxious around people, but I can control it. So it's not to a point where it's debilitating. And that's how I deal with it, just finding a middle ground. So anyhow, put my stuff, then went to the restroom. Just came from outside, still pretty hot here in New York City, went to the restroom and came right back. Got me a Diet Coke from the refrigerator. There's a bunch of Diet Cokes here that I guess it was some function and no one took them. It was like a whole two 20 packs, and they didn't get finished. So there's a whole bunch of Diet Cokes in there. So I took a Diet Coke, and they're pretty good, actually. I never really tried Diet Coke. Anyhow, I digress. So I sat here, and when I get around, again, there is this anxiety that comes up, right? So I can, without using the actual word, because I don't want the AI to block this video. There are times where I get frustrated with women to an extreme point. But for me, that is more of a mood. That's not an orientation that I have. It just becomes a fleeting mood. Now, it does happen. And if any men find themselves to be at that kind of state, then respect it. Just say, okay, this is when I need to just remove myself from the situation, go step out, do whatever you need to do to relax. If you're finding yourself having that orientation, that's a different story. So anyhow, sometimes I find that mood just gets uncomfortable. And again, I allow myself to have that kind of mood where I'm frustrated with women. I allow that. And some people are not going to find that, be uncomfortable when I say that, but I allow me to have that uncomfortability. But I recognize it, I see it, and then I say, okay, I have to remove myself, or whatever the case may be. Anyhow, so me feeling that way, I see these two girls, and it was something where I'm sitting here, I don't know them, never seen them before. I come here pretty often. I said, I don't want to sit here and not say anything. You know, so some of you may know what I'm talking about. When you come into a space and there's people you don't know, you don't want to feel like a stranger, or you don't want to feel like you're kind of you're isolating. You know, you don't want to be bothered or anything like that. It makes me feel strange. It starts to, I don't feel like I'm being, my energy is expanding. I feel like it's more compressing. So it makes me uncomfortable. I don't like doing that. So when I get into a space and I do feel like that, and it really starts to bother me, I like to at least extend myself just a little bit to at least kind of release that tension, right? So what I did was I saw the girls and I just said, oh, by the way, hello, how are you doing? I said something like that. How's your day? Something like that. I don't even think I even asked, how's your day? I don't even think I phrased it as a question. I was like, I don't remember what I said. I was just like, hello, you know, just how are you doing? You know, so, oh, hello, hope everything's fine. So, something like that. I don't remember what I said. But one girl, I think I just said, how's it going? I don't know, whatever. One girl had a shocked look on her face. And she said, oh, hi. And then the other girl said nothing and had a disgusted look on her face. Now, why would that be acceptable? That's bad, not only bad etiquette, that's very rude. Well, because society says it's okay to look down on short men, so you don't have to talk to them. So even just saying, you know, just reciprocating by being respectful, saying, hey, hello, or, oh, how you doing? No, you don't really have to do that. It's not needed in society. That's what it seems like. And just to put it out there, the one that responded to me, she was tall, maybe like 5'10"-ish, something like that. She was decent looking, very nice figure. I'll say that, nice figure. The other girl was shorter, pretty. Yeah, shorter and pretty. Other one taller, nice figure. So just putting that out there. And also another thing that I noticed, and I'm gonna wrap this video up right here. Another thing I noticed was just after I said something to them, I guess they were wrapping up what they were doing. I'm not even saying that this is a cause, there's any causation to this. They were leaving, they were about to leave. So one went to the bathroom, I guess to, watch their stuff. So one went to the bathroom, and then the other one came back, and then they already had all their stuff together, so they went to the bathroom next. The short girl had left first, so they didn't leave together. The short girl had left first, so they walked over to the restroom, then came back. The elevators were right in front of me. I'm not going to turn this camera around. Elevators were right in front of me. What I noticed was the body language. I don't want to read too much into this, but again, it's something where, in a very sensitive time, don't go out of your way to try to accommodate someone. But sometimes it's, even for optics, it's good to be mindful of how you may be perceived. So the short girl, who didn't say anything to me, she hit the elevator button, and she was right up against the door. She was not even more than a foot away from that door. To me, that's body language saying, I can't wait to get out of here from this short man. That's what I said. And she actually did it, because she went to the restroom first, and then when she came back, the taller girl left. So when the short girl went to get on the elevator, the tall girl wasn't here. It was just her and I. No one else was around. There were people working, but this floor, there's not a lot of people, so there's not a lot of traffic. There's some people behind me that way, but they can't really see the elevator. So she was, no exaggeration, and there's about a good 10, 15 feet from where this table to the elevator. Yeah, about 10, 15 feet. So there's enough space. She was right up against the elevator door, no more than a foot. No more than a foot. She got on the elevator. I looked at her, not staring, but, observing as I'm eating. Maybe just to give like, okay, hello, enjoy the rest of your day. But I noticed that and I was like, wow, interesting. Then the tour girl came. She didn't look at me, I didn't say, when stuff like that, I would extend myself, say, just hello. But I don't try to keep a conversation unless I feel it's organic. She was just walking up and down. She wasn't it wasn't an urgency for her to leave. That's what I mean. So she stood, and then the other thing was the short girl, well, I don't remember. No, she was she was pretty close to the elevator while waiting. Yeah. And the tall girl just kind of stood there just on her phone, but she was a couple feet away, about maybe a meter at least, from the elevator door. So, I mean, anyway, just putting that out there. Yeah, it's just interesting because people would say, well, just be more confident, or, just put yourself out there, just, speak up, or initiate, right? Things like that. And it's like, well, it's not going to be well received. And that's a perfect example. And you could say, well, that's one example, but it happens pretty often. And then you can tell where, well, at least to me, the way I perceive it is, for someone to do something like that, that means they're not worried about what society or people are going to think. You get what I'm saying? It's acceptable for them to not have to respond, where it will be looked at as bad etiquette at the very least, but definitely rude and disrespectful. I think you guys see what I'm getting at. And I had another incident like that, which I'm not going to get into right now, but I had an incident like that where one of my previous jobs, I started befriending this one girl. Then her friend, it was during lunch, her friend, who I also started to get to know as well, she came a couple moments afterwards. She joined in the conversation. The other girl brought up something about her cat. I forgot what it was. It's not even irrelevant. But I made a point, like, maybe your cat just doesn't, like this or like that. And she was so, the words are just slipping out of my head. I'm sorry about that. But she was so, like, just dismissive, or not dismissive, but she totally did not want to accept my argument. She just kept saying, like, no, that's not the case. No, that's not what's happening. Even though what I was saying made sense, it was just a wall. Like, no, that's not what happened. No, that makes no sense. And then her friend kind of noticed. It was like, wow, you're like, you don't really want to hear this guy out at all. You're really, kind of exaggerating how much you disagree with this guy. So anyhow, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Yeah, there's definitely a wall out there. It's definitely a wall that short men have to deal with. And it is what it is. You gotta leave it alone. Well, that's all for now. Thanks for listening. Enjoy the rest of your day.